How does it feel to re-sign for Manchester United?
Yeah, it obviously feels a bit surreal, but I think obviously over the last sort of month or so, 6 weeks, I've been around the squad and been on tour and played a few games, so that's made probably the transition a little bit easier. But it's amazing to be back, and I feel like I'm back home.
And there have been lots of changes since you left the club in 2015, but still a lot of familiar faces around. How is it being back here at Carrington?
Well, you're still here, Sully. So, yeah, you see, obviously, there's still so many people, behind the scenes and parts of the staff and that, and it's great to see them. And, I went through all that, like I said, when I first came back in at the start of pre-season, so that's been nice. And still people that, maybe aren't at the training ground every day, but you keep bumping into and seeing, so that's been amazing.
In 8 really good years for you away from Manchester United, you played at West Brom and Leicester. Obviously they were your priority, but did you always have that affection for United still?
Of course, I've been a Man United fan since I can remember, and I was still able to come to some of the games. You never lose that, and I experienced that. When I went to the other clubs, players always have their teams that they grew up supporting when they're a kid. And, Man United for me was that. So obviously still big connections with the club. My wife obviously working at MUTV and I'm working for the club in different parts. So there's always been that connection for me, and even while I was away, I was able to come back and watch some games. Got to the cup final, both cup finals last year, and the club looked after me, and so it was great to go and watch them games and see the club obviously win the League Cup, which was a great experience.
You mentioned Helen, of course. Your whole family, though, must be really proud of you re-signing for United, and they'll get the opportunity to watch you play.
Yeah, and I think these sort of they'd always sort of ask a question, did you used to play for Man United? I don't think they believe me in that sense, but it's nice that they're going to be able to watch me. And my eldest was actually born during my last season at the club, so it'd be nice to be able to take them to Old Trafford, and for children to see their dad run out at Old Trafford would be something special for any child. So I'm really fortunate and lucky that I get to do that.
And you won yourself 3 league titles, 2 League Cups with United, won the FA Cup with Leicester a couple of years ago, so you've got a good medal collection there. That must be a big source of pride for you.
It is, and they're always, I suppose, nice to look back on. I suppose you never sort of really kind of appreciate them at the time, because you're constantly trying to outdo the season before. You're always trying to look forward, but I'll be proud, especially when my career is over, I'm able to look back and sort of and see what I've achieved, and especially at this club, being a part of the history, and any club really, that being able to be a part of the history of that club. And I've always sort of felt like you're winning the titles for the club. On a personal level, they're nice to sort of look back on, but yeah, it's all about the team and everyone involved.
And we really hope you can be part of more trophy success here in this spell. You're actually close to reaching a milestone with the club. Do you know what it is? Your appearances?
Yeah, I think it was 198. I think I'm on 198, so it'd be nice if we can get that over quickly.
Yeah, if you can get to 200, 100%, it'd be a fantastic achievement. It's a big milestone. 7 goals in those 198 as well, so maybe you can add to that as well. You initially returned to work on your fitness, then signed a short deal, went on the pre-season tour. How did you enjoy that experience being back on tour with United?
That was great. I think everything sort of happened really really fast, and like you say, from coming in just to sort of work on my fitness to within like a day or two, like each day something sort of new seemed to happen that would sort of change. And the club were asking me then, would you like to play in this game? And then it was the next day, it was kind of like, would you like to go on tour? So I was coming home every day to Helen being like, I think I'm going to go on tour. So there was constantly different things happening, and everything sort of snowballed from there, really.
And you've been on tour to United before. You know the incredible support we have all over the globe. How did you find that experience again, seeing our amazing support out in the States?
It's great, and I think the last tour actually I'd gone on was to the States. So going back there and seeing how much the club, the impact that they still have, and the support, and obviously the growth in the club and in America as well, it was amazing to see.
And before that, even pulling on that shirt for the first time in a long while against Lyon in Edinburgh must have been kind of surreal, but a great experience.
It was another sort of proud moment for myself, my family, and I think at that stage, I was still probably in my mind, just getting fit and try and contribute in that game in the best way they could. And like I say, it wasn't long after that before things started to snowball. But it was a great day, and obviously Helen, my wife, and my dad went up to watch, so it's great.
And Erik ten Hag has said that your experience is something he really wanted to add to this squad. What part do you think you can play both on and off the pitch this season?
Obviously, I want to contribute to the team as much as I can, and I can't. It's hard to sort of think differently. And obviously, when you become more experienced, you have to maybe your role change. I know I'm not going to play as much, or be a starter as soon as I come into the team or in the squad. So I think my mentality my mindset might have to change a little bit in that sense. But I think throughout my career, I've always wanted to compete, and it'll be no different. And feel like I can make a good contribution to the squad and to the club, and otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and you've progressed through our academy and have been working recently with some of the young players coming through now. So how impressed are you by the young players we've got coming through who are on the fringes of that first team?
It's been great to see, and it's even though I'm much older now and much more of a senior player, and you still always feel that connection with the academy players. And even that's whenever I left Manchester United in the past and you'd see other academy players around, you always sort of feel like you got a bond or a connection. So it's been amazing for me to be back in with them in the dressing room. I've loved it, and I've been sharing a dressing room with them. So I've loved that, seeing them progress, and knowing what I was feeling at that sort of stage in my career and in my life, and sort of all the things that they're going through in their head. And it's great to see, and it's made me feel young again, and it's made me feel like I've been able to sort of get back into that mindset that they've been in, where you're trying to come into the first team every day and impress, and show the manager what you can do.
Yeah, you'll be a big inspiration to them, that's for sure. They can see what you've achieved, and they'd love to follow in your footsteps. And how much have you enjoyed working with Erik and the coaches here?
It's been amazing. Every training session I've absolutely loved, and I suppose the standards and the discipline and the drive from everyone that the top club like this and top players driving that every day, and the standards and that they set for themselves and for each other. It's been great to sort of be back amongst that.
And as a United fan and now a United player again, are you optimistic for our prospects this season?
I am, and I think obviously with the manager, it was his first season last year, and what a great job he did. And I think there's so much belief. I can sense that amongst the fans. Being a fan myself, last year going to a few of the games and sort of seeing the progress, and some of the signings this summer that he's brought in, and you can sort of see that he's starting to put more of his own sort of stamp on the squad, and there's a lot of respect for them in there in the dressing room. And you can see very high demands, but you can see that all the players are buying along to it, and you can sense that they feel like they're not far away from being where they want to be.
And your personal aims and expectations for the season ahead?
Just contribute as much as I can, and you try and give as much as I can to the team, to the club, and when I'm needed and when I'm ready to be ready. And there's a lot of professionalism has to go into that. I know that, and it's a different type of challenge for me to make sure that I'm physically ready and mentally ready for them games, and that's something that I'm looking forward to, that challenge of that.
And finally, I know fans are delighted to see you back. We saw that when you came onto the pitch in Edinburgh. There was a great reception for you there. But do you have a message to all those United fans who would love to see you pull on that shirt again?
Yeah, just first of all, thank you for the support, and even the support during my last spell at the club and since I left, and the amount of good messages and sort of every time you meet Man United fans everywhere. So I really appreciated that warm welcome I got in Edinburgh, obviously then when I went to Dublin, in the States too. So I really appreciate that, like I said.